The silent graveyard. Admiral Vurax stood on the command bridge of the XDS Vengeance, eyes narrowed as the fleet exited slipspace into the Viridian Reach system. What was supposed to be a routine follow-up had turned into a mystery that gnawed at him. 12 warships. Gone. No distress calls, no survivors, no wreckage. Just silence. Sensor sweep, Vurax ordered. Already running, Admiral, replied Commander Etris. Initial scans, wait. I'm detecting debris fields in the asteroid belt. Metallic composition matches Dominion fleet hulls. Visuals on screen. The holographic display shimmered, revealing shattered hulls and twisted armor plating floating aimlessly in the void. Some fragments still bore the Dominion crest. Others were too melted to identify. Vurax clenched his mandibles. Weapons fire signatures. No trace of energy weapons, sir. But some wrecks have punctures consistent with high-velocity kinetics. Primitive, Vurax muttered. Crude. Human. The word hung heavy in the air. No one had seen humans in decades, not since the Purge. Back then, the Dominion had deemed Earth too troublesome, too rebellious. A few targeted bombardments, some engineered plagues, and Earth was left smoldering. Or so they believed. Sir, Etris said, tension tightening her voice. There's one intact vessel drifting near debris field 3. Registry code, Old Terran. Scout class. Model SRV-7. That stopped Vurax cold. Humans, he hissed. Affirmative. Power is minimal. No life signs, no active comms. Board it. Minutes later, a boarding pod locked onto the human vessel's airlock. The soldiers breached with ease, sweeping through the narrow corridors. The interior was coated in dust, the lights flickering weakly. Clear, the team leader reported. No crew. No AI. But something's off. What do you mean off? Vurax demanded over comms. Everything's clean. Systems look dormant, but they're not shut down. It's like it's waiting. The bridge of the Hound was eerily preserved. Dated screens blinked faintly. A single terminal pulsed with energy. One of the techs moved to interface. A sudden surge of power jolted the console to life. Words appeared across the main screen, plain Terran standard. The translator took a moment before the message echoed in Vurax's mind. You should have left Earth alone. Silence gripped the bridge. Even Etris seemed stunned. Is this a warning? She asked. No, Vurax said slowly. It's a message. He turned to the crew. Trace the ship's origin. Backtrack its last jump signature. And get those logs decrypted now. But deep inside, something cold settled in his chest. 12 Dominion warships didn't vanish because of chance. Something had torn them apart and left this vessel behind, deliberately. And now it was speaking, not in desperation, not in fear, but in warning. Debriefing the ghost. The SRV-7 Hound was now docked inside the Vengeance's secure hangar bay, sealed behind containment fields and monitored by 20 armed guards. No one felt safe around it. Not even Admiral Vurax. Any progress with the data core? Vurax asked, stepping into the intelligence analysis chamber. Chief Analyst Relar looked uneasy. Sir, this ship isn't just old Terran tech. It's been heavily modified. The encryption methods are advanced. Adaptive. It's like the code fights back. Fights back. We tried brute force decryption, Relar explained, gesturing to a broken console. It triggered a logic bomb. Fried 2 of our best AI cores. Vurax turned to the main screen where distorted images played. Blurry, time-stamped feeds from the Hound's log fragments. They showed flashes of black-armored figures moving inside the corridors of Zentari ships. Humanoid, silent, precise. 1 second, an empty hallway. The next, blood. Those are humans, Etris said quietly, watching the footage with a pale expression. But that armor, it's not standard Earth military. They boarded our ships, Vurax growled, and no one even knew they were there. Relar nodded. We believe these were surgical strikes. They hit command decks, life support systems, critical infrastructure, and left no survivors. Every action calculated. Vurax stared at the flickering image of one human operative. A mask covered their face, but the eyes, cold, unblinking, watched the camera before vanishing in a blink. Sir, there's more, Rilar added. A designation embedded in the encryption. We believe it refers to their fleet or unit. Show me. Text scrolled onto the screen, pulsing red. Phantom Wing. Etris frowned. That doesn't match any known Earth force. It wouldn't, Vurax said darkly. They vanished after the purge. We thought they were broken. Instead, they've been preparing. A sudden alarm blared through the ship. Red lights bathed the chamber. Vurax spun toward the intercom. Report. This is engineering, barked a voice. Primary systems are experiencing cascading failures. Internal comms down, navigation offline, and Admiral, the SRV-7 just reactivated itself. All eyes turned to the feed from the hangar bay. The human ship's lights had flared back to life. It was broadcasting, without permission, a signal into Dominion space. Shut it down, Vurax ordered. We can't. The containment fields are collapsing. The ship isn't broadcasting data. It's transmitting a beacon. Beacon to what? No one answered. The screen flickered again, and a new message scrawled across every display on the Vengeance. This was a test. The lights dimmed. Vurax looked at Etris. They wanted us to find this ship, she whispered. Vurax's voice was low, grim. They wanted us to know they're back. In the silence that followed, the cold reality sank in. Earth had survived, and now it was hunting. Phantom Wing strikes. The Vengeance floated in silence, its systems crippled, its crew paralyzed with uncertainty. Emergency lights blinked slowly, casting blood-red shadows across the darkened bridge. Admiral Vurax stood rigid, mandibles tight, as technicians scrambled to restore control. We've lost command protocols, Etris reported. Main drives are offline. Weapons, unresponsive. We've been digitally severed from our own systems. Reverse the beacon. Trace the signal. Do something. Vurax barked. Before anyone could respond, the view screen flashed. Not from Dominion Command, but from outside. Shapes emerged from the dark edges of the asteroid belt. Sleek, angular vessels with no identifiable markings, running cold and silent. There were 5 at first, then 10, then dozens. The Phantom Wing had arrived. They didn't announce themselves. No declarations, no warnings. They simply attacked. Kinetic rods, invisible until impact, slammed into Zentari ships, piercing reinforced hulls like paper. One cruiser, the XDS Brocker, erupted in flame as its power core detonated. Another lost half its structure before its wreckage spiraled into a moon. Shields won't activate, someone shouted. Launch fighters now. Tiny Dominion fighters burst from the docking bays, but they never even reached combat range. Swarms of Razor drones, fast, silent, and too small to track, tore them apart. No explosions, just sudden silence as each fighter vanished from sensors. Vurax gripped the railing. How do humans develop this? They were nothing. Scattered. Broken. Apparently not, Etris whispered. One Phantom Wing vessel drifted dangerously close to the Vengeance. It didn't fire. Instead, it extended a docking clamp. They're boarding us, Etris said, backing away from the main console. Prepare countermeasures, Vurax ordered. But the boarders were already inside. Black-armored human operatives appeared in the corridors like ghosts. Their movements were fluid, exact, clearly enhanced. They didn't speak. They didn't hesitate. Every Zentari they encountered fell before raising a weapon. On the bridge, an explosion rocked the deck. A section of the wall blew inward, and 3 human soldiers stepped through. The lead removed her helmet, revealing sharp eyes beneath a scarred face. Admiral Vurax, she said coolly. He froze. Who are you? Captain Alara Voss. Phantom Wing. What do you want? To deliver a message. She stepped forward. Earth is alive. We remember everything. This is an act of war. No, she said, voice hard as steel. That was decades ago. This is an answer. Voss tossed a small device to the floor. A holographic projection lit up. Images of Zentari warships bombarding Earth colonies, civilians screaming, cities burning. Then another image. Earth today shielded, armed, and hidden behind orbital cloaks. You thought we died, she said. We evolved. Voss turned to leave. You'll survive. Just long enough to carry the warning home. As the operatives vanished into smoke, the humans ejected every Zentari survivor into escape pods and launched them toward Dominion space. Each pod carried the same chilling message. Return home. Speak truth. Fear us. The human problem. The Zentari High Council convened in silence. 12 survivors, barely alive, shaken, and stripped of rank, had returned from Viridian Reach in emergency pods. They bore no physical wounds, but their minds were shattered. We recovered their pods 2 cycles ago, said Grand Strategist Thaler. Each one contained identical data fragments. All verified. He gestured, and the main chamber's hologrid came alive. Images of black-armored humans. The wreckage of Dominion cruisers. The same terrifying message, again and again. Earth remembers everything. The chamber trembled with whispered disbelief. They should have been extinct, barked General Korik, slamming his clawed fist on the table. We purged them. Their colonies burned. Their world choked. They disappeared, Thaler said coldly, and in doing so, became a shadow we never saw coming. A murmur rippled through the council. Fear, the kind they hadn't felt in centuries. We underestimated them, Thaler continued. Again, but this isn't just revenge. It's strategy. They let us believe they were dead. They let our arrogance grow. Then let us strike. Korik snarled. We have 1,000 ships. No, Thaler interrupted. The Phantom Wing was only one cell. Intelligence has found signs of coordinated activity across dead systems we once scoured. Massive power surges, unknown quantum signatures. They've rebuilt, hidden in the cracks of the galaxy. Earth was wiped clean, another counselor cried. Thaler turned slowly to face the chamber. No, Earth was shielded. They cloaked their homeworld, buried it in silence, and let time do their work. They studied us, adapted, planned. The lights dimmed as the final recording played. It was grainy, silent footage captured from a Dominion scout ship on the edge of known space. A small planet, blue, green, familiar. Earth. Suddenly, the screen distorted, then vanished. Static. The ship was gone. Gone without a trace, Thaler whispered. Same signature as Viridian Reach. Silence again. This time darker. What do they want? Someone asked quietly. They want us to remember, Thaler said. They want us to fear. And they want us to know they're still out there. Far across the stars, beneath a sky of synthetic clouds, Captain Alara Voss stood atop a black spire on cloaked Earth. Her armor gleamed under artificial starlight. Around her, construction drones moved silently across vast shipyards. Dozens of stealth ships hovered like gargoyles, their hulls marked only by one symbol, a shattered Dominion crest wrapped in Terran thorns. A lieutenant approached. The escape pods reached the Zentari homeworld. Voss nodded. Good. Let them run. He hesitated. What next, Captain? She stared into the void. We hit harder. The stars no longer belong to the Zentari. They belong to the ghosts they created. And now, those ghosts were coming.